began homeschooling before COVID, there was a lot of homeschooling programs. So when she did go to a homeschooling program, I was working for myself with a small business. But that has tapered off since COVID. And I know that other families as well, trying to figure out if you choose the unschooling route, so there's a parent that's going to school the children, that's me in this case. But that parent then, it takes a huge chunk of their time, if not all of their time, to care for, now you're not only a parent, but you're also the teacher. And so a lot of families end up with a loss of income. So now you may have one parent working, or in my case, I'm the only parent. So I just thought it would be nice to talk about some strategies if homeschooling or unschooling is really important, about some ways that you can make it happen, and get over, deal with the challenge of the finances. So yeah, I thought that would be nice. I've been really fired up this week, and I think it's because it's like new moon and new year and the tiger, and so don't take it personally, Angela, if you're sensing my passion and excitement and frustration as well comes with it.
Oh, yay. No, I love the excitement. Yeah, I think this topic is super relevant. And I think that a lot of times finances can actually be, so they're kind of like our gift, in terms of even financial struggle can be our gift, because they offer us a glimpse into where our beliefs lie. So many times we use the symbol of money as a limiting belief. The money is the permission slip to allow us to do what we want to do or not, depending on how much is in the bank account. So in my practice, there has been to use that symbol of money to be flexible, to really get a good look at where I'm holding my beliefs, and to then allow myself to step into the life that I actually want to live, despite symbols that I may have put up, like a symbol of there not being enough money in the bank account or whatever, because it's always fluctuating. And what I mean by that is, it's not necessarily that you're just going to be like, oh, I want a mansion and 2 sports cars in the driveway. That's not necessarily the living the life of that speaks to your heart that I'm talking about. However, that might play into it. It's just not the core of it. What the core is paying attention to what like theme you want to live, like what is the core beliefs that you want to live from. Now, the reason why this is relevant to self-directed education is because self-directed education or unschooling is a core belief. It's a core way that we look at how children learn, how we want to actually parent. Those things are what I would consider things that you actually need and you're totally worthy of. You're totally worthy of whatever speaks to your heart. So despite of what's in the bank account, I believe I have that core. I just remind myself, oh, wait a minute. What is actually true for me is totally livable. I don't need to be in fear. And then we start to see things like maybe financial struggle or financial stressful times as our gift, because what they're doing is they're highlighting how perhaps we have fallen into the belief that I can't live the life that I want, and I need certain things, certain permission from physical things to allow me to give myself permission to step into the life that I want. And when we see that pop up, it feels negative. It feels like restricting. And that's just our indicator that we're holding a restricting belief. And when we look at that and then step into life with a new belief, like it takes a little courage, right? Like stepping into the unknown, we actually tell life, no, I'm going to live from this new belief. And I have found that life reflects that back. So end of spiel.
Thank you. I knew that you were going to give a really, an awesome perspective, and I love it. And I think that I do live that way. I just don't explain it as well as you do. So my philosophy has been, you know what, I believe in freedom. I believe in self-directed education. My daughter and I love this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, and we'll just let the finances work itself out. And at the end of the day, we're doing all right. We're doing good. We're still looking at taking an awesome trip this year, and that's amazing. But I have had, especially this year, some of that stress and second, doubting and worries and challenges about the financial end. So it's nice to look at those, that stress coming in as actually like a gift. So I think that working it from that angle is very important. And I also think just to also like really ground it. I know that when I was on the Association for Self-Directed Education weekend, which was super awesome, they really went into some specifics. So I think I'll just share some of those. And if other ideas come up for you, Angela, just so other people can have some ideas of, with some strategies that if this is super important to you, I think the most important thing is to work on those beliefs and come into alignment that, yes, at the end of the day, I have a right to educate my child the way that seems fit. And we are worthy of a freedom-based lifestyle, and we're worthy of following our passion, for sure. So coming back into check with those affirmations and core beliefs are important. And so, so for me this year and since COVID, we've applied for a lot of assistance. And that took me a little while to embrace, I guess would be a good word. But it's been working well, to be quite honest. We were qualified for some state stuff, and it's come together. So we are making ends meet. And I think a big hurdle for me personally, and maybe some other people, is just I guess, maybe, I was raised to be a strong, independent woman, and the thought that, oh, I can do this, I can educate, I can be the mom, I can be the dad, I can bring home the money, it's just too much. So I think for me, it just took me to kind of be humble and say, you know what, I actually can't do all of this, and I do need some help. And what resources are available to me and to us. So that has been helpful for us to tap into kind of state resources. I'm just wondering,
Yeah.
like, and I know that if you do so that's one idea, is just, see what's available for your state, your income level, see what you can get coming in. That has been helpful for me. And I know that some private schools or Sudbury schools or self-directed schools, they do have financial aid. So if you're looking at a Sudbury school, you could definitely apply and qualify for some type of financial aid. Because if you're talking public versus doing this, right? Public is free. And now you're talking about not only adding an expense, but adding if you're talking about unschooling, now you're also, it's a job in itself, right? To be the facilitator. So yeah,
Yeah. Yes, so much of what you said is so yes. I also think life takes us through phases. So for me, my path has been so different. Like there have been times where it was like, it was so empowering for me to bring in the money and take care of my daughter as a single mom. I was also a single mom for 3 years. Then there have been times where it was very clear that it was my time to get support from whether it was my partner, or I have also reached out to state support at times when finances were up and down, and all of these things. So the technical side of things, like how do you get support and how can you live this life, are very helpful. At the core, I think why belief work is essential is that noticing that all of this is arising for you for a reason. And a lot of times when it is time to get support, like whether the form doesn't really matter, but whether it's reaching out to the state or whether you have a partner that's willing to support you here, whatever it is, a lot of times what that does is it serves to humble us in a beautiful way. I don't mean humble as in like, oh, I thought I was so great and now I just need to humble my ego. It's more humbling as in you realize how supported you actually are and how much pressure you were putting on your ego to be the one that has to do everything. When we start to see from a perspective that everything is actually connected, we are all actually one, it becomes almost less personal. It's like, but more personal at the same time. It's a paradox. It's like, wow, this experience that I'm experiencing actually is me, and I can relax into all the seasons of my life knowing that the oneness of life is supporting me wherever we are. And I think what makes finding the practicalities so useful is when we make it fun. So when we realize that whatever's making it not fun, whatever's making it seem stressful, we don't have to, you can do whatever you want, but it's very useful to see it as bringing up negative beliefs for you. When we bring those beliefs into alignment, then we can move forward with finding the technicalities, which are going to be different for everybody, but there's definitely some useful ones that we can get into that I think are very relevant for everybody. But those things become an art form and a fun game to play to figure out how it was going to work for everybody in our unique situation.
I love that. I just popped a little lozenge. So anyways, yeah, and that's what I find is that I go through these periods of like, I like the ebb and flow of kind of feeling like I can, I've got this, and then I kind of, something comes up and it blows up, and then I'm like, no, I need help. And it's funny because I feel like as soon as I reach out for help, it doesn't matter if I call my sister and I'm like, can you please just like take her for a couple hours? Like, I feel like just that reaching out for help, the universe hears it, okay, she's asking for help. And then the opportunities can come in, like you said, whether it's an application for some state help or maybe some, I know some other things, especially since I'm home. I know that a lot of homeschoolers will, if there's a mom that isn't working, she'll take a group of kids to her home a couple times a week. Or there's a really cool thing from the Association of Self-Directed Education where they're doing it's called, I think it's Freedom Flyers, where like one of the parents will take a group of kids out for like 4 or 5 hours just out into the world. And so just like some small ways to generate income while if you're choosing the unschooling, homeschooling world. So I know that those, that's been a couple ideas that have come to me. And I thought, I'm definitely like, at this point, I'm just looking into everything. We're looking into tiny homes. We do have a camper, which is awesome. And I know a lot of families actually go on the road full time to release the stress and the costs of keeping a home. Which is something we've thought about a little bit, but my daughter and I would love to have a home and to travel. So, but I know that a lot of families do just go on the road and just travel. And now they've got just the one expense of being in campgrounds and traveling. So that's a potential solution. I know that that won't work for everyone. I don't even think it will work for me, but the tiny home thing is really appealing to me because I love the idea of community. I just have this vision of, you know, a bunch of like-minded families and like a common area and yoga and homeschooling and just shared meals and ceremonies and meditations and dance parties and I could go on and on, but